for the purpose of people who haven't read the book, can you explain to them, you know, your elevator pitch for what is the DIRT Circus League and what is the story about?
Okay, well, so the elevator pitch is basically Asa, she's 17 years old and she's running from her past, and she winds up meeting a notorious group of outcast teens who are called the DIRT Circus League, and she follows them to their home, which is an abandoned resort way up in Cape York, so in a very remote area of Cape York. And when she's there, she discovers the truth about their beliefs, and so that leads her to, she has to really face her own demons before she can save them from themselves. So that's the elevator pitch. So it's very much, so it blends fantasy, bit of paranormal, bit of horror, bit of sci-fi, and it's very fast paced. There's a lot of action, there's fight scenes, so there's a lot of physicality and a lot of energy in the novel. So if you like those sorts of things, then hopefully you'll like DIRT Circus League.
And that leads really well to my next question, because it seems like, you know, when I read it and then I thought about it, I'm like, I think like this book is about violence. Like it's about violence on many levels, like to ourselves, to others, to the land. And I also think it's interesting, like, well, I just wonder how you broach that, because when you're writing fight scenes, like there must be, you know, those kinds of scenes can seem really cool because they're kind of the wish fulfillment we all have, where we'd love to be the action hero. So how did you explore violence in this book, and why was that so interesting to you?
Yeah, look, I think that because there's violence in all of us, and I think, you know, we like to pretend there isn't, but, you know, I think there is violence in all of us, and it's about coming to terms with what that really means. But it also is that reflection of the violence that's been done to this land that is yet to be recognised. There's that sort of violence. In terms of the violence, I was really careful. I wanted to have the male and female characters on an even keel with the violence, so they were actually able to match each other physically, and using strategy and you know, the different moves that they had. So there was no, the males were always going to be more powerful than the females. I didn't want to have that sort of thing going on at all. And it's just, I think it's about that recognition of violence. And so if we do have violence in ourselves, how do we come to terms with that, and how do we channel that violence into something positive? And some people will do that through actually participating in a sport that is really physical, like whether it's martial arts or boxing, or, you know, or fighting in some sort of way, you know, in a competitive way, or whether it's recognising that violence and then channeling it through the type of work that they do, or working with people who are suffering the consequences of violence, either as victims or as perpetrators. So there's, yeah, I think I just really wanted to explore violence in all its forms, but not shy away from it, and look at both the negative aspects of it and how it could be positively channeled.